Sound Threads, a weekly show on music. Each show will contain 3 elements, all covered by Paul. First, he'll look at the world of music. Shows will typically cover some aspect of music and cover subjects such as the history of music, songwriting, the size of various genres, and music as a business, an industry. Second, Paul will play a song and provide a bit of background on the how and why it was written. And finally, each show will include an episode of a story. The story is about a musician who goes from learning guitar and on to fame and fortune. So first today, the world of music part of the show, and keep it right here for a song and also this week's episode about Freddie Spaghetti. Thanks for joining us on Sound Threads.
Hi, it's Paul Ryan. As we continue our tour of the top-selling artists of all time, today I'm going to take a look at Garth Brooks. So we move from pop and rock, from Elvis and the Beatles over to country. Garth Brooks is an American country singer-songwriter, and his music has a distinct rock and roll element to it. So like the Beatles and Elvis, Brooks brought different genres or sounds into his music. What made him so successful? Well, aside from the music itself, he's perceived as a man of the people. Some lyrics are opinionated, and his stance on some issues was almost like Bob Dylan was. Basically, he was saying, "This is who I am," and it connected with enough fans to propel Brooks to number 2 on the all-time list at 157 million sales. His song, Friends in Low Places, featured a teasing falsetto lead vocal. He was a storyteller, and perhaps, like Dolly Parton, the songwriting was based upon personal experiences and observations. He also had what I'll describe as situational vocals, which matched the song subject and introduced some instrumentation, which wasn't common in the country music of his day. Remember the shows I did on how subtle little enhancements can make a song appeal to many people, make them memorable? Brooks did this. The other thing about his music is that his songs are genuine, totally from the heart, and there's not a lot of sameness to them. So when he broke onto the scene in 1989, his first album went all the way to number 2 on the Billboard Country Chart. His second album spent 23 weeks at number 1 on the country charts. And his highest selling album had 5 number 1 songs. 5 number 1 songs in one album. Brooks retired in 2000, reappearing in 2005 for a few benefit concerts, and released a single, Good Ride Cowboy. It was a tribute to late country singer Chris Ledoux. Well, this was supposed to be a one-show performance. It ballooned into 9 shows. In 2014, he came out of retirement with a tour in Dublin, Ireland. And since that time, he's put out some new material and re-released some albums. As with others on the top list, I'll ask today, what made Garth Brooks so great? Well, I've covered a couple of them a few minutes ago, but I think it was this combination of musical variety, being a good storyteller, his vocals, his authenticity. There was nothing phony about Brooks. He could be your next-door neighbor, giving his take on some issue of common interest. And I'll add another thing, and that is his songwriting. It's glued all the points I just mentioned, but he had this ability to bring together complex or nondescript concepts and communicate them simply and clearly in music. Not as easy as it sounds. Remember, we did a show on some of the characteristics of great songwriters, and one of them was the ability to sort of look at a chaotic situation and organize it. Well, he obviously has that skill. He had a unique combination of talents, relatability, great songwriting, and a rock country style and genuine guy-next-door appeal. This was the combination that vaulted Brooks into 3rd all-time in USA units sold. Today's song is a song called Seabird. I wrote it as an allegorical kind of story song. People and birds know the difference between a true leader and a pretender or a poser. In this case, it was better to be magnanimous than to be self-centered, selfish, and antagonistic to others.
Up in the sky with wings of light gray, I watched as a seabird came floating my way. He sat on the sand and shook off his flight, then moved down the beach in the morning's first light. He strutted around as if he were king. He picked and he poked at a small wooden stick. He'd fooled all the others with deception before. The stick looked like food, so he'd fool 'em some more. Look all around and soon you will see, a treasure's not always where it looks to be. If you let go and seek out new ground, a feast will await you and those all around. That seabird chased any bird that would dare come near his stick, it was his not to share. A faux food treasure with honeycomb holes. It may not be real, but it's his piece of gold. The other birds wanted to share in his game, but the seabird's mirage let none to attain. One morsel of secrets he held in that beak. They wandered away to leave him in peace. Then one gull began shrieking and chirping. He jumped to the air, his discovery circling, to show the whole flock where to look for some food, trumpeting loudly so I'll be included. When all of those birds arrived at the spot, the seabird came by, now seeking his lot. The others turned on him and sent him away, and followed the gull that shared in his prey. False to himself and the others around, protecting his status, no treasure he found. A king without kindness is a king on his own. The one that can lead will inherit the throne.
And now, here is this week's episode of The Musical Life of Freddie Spaghetti.
Maybe it's her being at the verge of achieving a long-standing academic goal. Maybe it's the idea that her dream job is imminent. Maybe it's just the right time. Or maybe it's Freddie himself. But Britt was ready for something new. She enjoys Freddie's company and his non-academic, almost carefree approach to life. He's easy to be with, and someone who can make her laugh. On the other hand, he's a forklift operator, not exactly a captain of industry, and he spends an awful lot of time with that guitar. Where will that all lead to? Even with all those limitations and uncertainty, there's something different about Freddie, something she's not seen in other boys. Somehow, some way, Britt thinks he's going to do something special in his life. She's not sure when or what, but it'll happen. About a week has passed, and Freddie can't get her out of his mind. After the ice cream shop, he waited for a few days, and he called her, hoping maybe they could grab that coffee. "Oh, not now, Fred. I'm right in the middle of studying for some exams. Another time?" So a week later, he tried again. "Hi, Fred," she said firmly. "I thought you'd never call." The greeting left Freddie just a little perplexed and a whole lot happy. A day later, they had the date, and then another one and another one. It got so that Saturdays belonged to them. No studies, no volunteering at the animal shelter, no forklift overtime, no playing the guitar. Just them.
Thanks for listening to this week's Sound Threads. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week we'll have a brand new edition. Hope you will join us then.